Hello fellow woodworkers, and welcome to the second 10-minute tool review video series from the USA. Our first video is in the Home Depot, and I'll put a link in the description in case you haven't seen that. Today we're going to be looking in Lowe's. Roll the intro. So for those of you that don't know about Lowe's, it's very similar to B&Q, Home Depot in the UK. The thing about Lowe's, and it might just be this one that I've noticed, is it's not as nicely organised and laid out as Home Depot is. It's a bit more like a jumble sale, things just put here and there. But in terms of the size, it's roughly the same size as the Home Depot that I was in the last video. So what we're going to do is compare some of the products that we looked at there, here, and see if there's any price difference. And also I'll just talk about the range of products that are available. So let's get started. So as you can see, this is just an average normal Lowe's. There is a lot more of a tool section than there was at Home Depot, and interestingly enough, Craftsman seems to be the main choice of tool here. There's also, you know, the main tools you can see down there's a DeWalt stand, but there seems to be a lot of Craftsman tools, so let's have a look at some of those now. Now this is interesting. If you remember in the last video I talked to you about being in the UK and not being able to go into a shop and buy some Bessie clamps. Well, you also cannot buy Bessie clamps here. All of these clamps are Jorgensen, not Bessie. In fact, I haven't seen any Bessie branded products anywhere. And again, prices are very reasonable, going all the way up from a 36-inch heavy-duty steel bar clamp, which is only $29, and you do have to add sale tax to that, and we are in Maryland as we were before, so it's the same amount of sale tax. And quite often I see these being used on other YouTuber videos, and these steel bar clamps are $54. I'd love to take one back to the UK, but it weighs an absolute ton and I'd never get it back. But for a clamp that size, really reasonable. And actually Jorgensen are a really good brand in terms of clamps. So all the clamps are here, everything you would expect, but just none made by Bessie. So interestingly, just looking at the miter saws, I haven't seen a single product made by Milwaukee at all yet, and I have walked around the tool section a couple of times. But what we have got is Craftsman, which, as I said, is a sort of entry-level brand. There's another one called Cobalt, which you can see here. This, for example, is $296 for a very substantial miter saw. In fact, this one, this sliding miter saw, is currently on sale at the moment, down to $244, but it's placed right next to a DeWalt. Moving forward, we've also got Metabo, which is a brand that I haven't seen here. I didn't see it in a Home Depot anywhere, but they've got them here. And again, with a range of brands, you've got a real choice, all the way from the cheaper sort of entry-level brands, which Colbo and Craftsman are, all the way up to the Metabos and the top of the range DeWalt. So a nice variety of products. Okay, so I have found the Craig tool section, kind of wishing I hadn't. If you remember from the first video, one of the things that I bought was a pocket hole drill bit, and I paid $19.54, I think, plus sales tax, and the exact same one here is $17.98. So although it's only $1, it is a significant saving, and if all of the Craig product range is that much cheaper, then I think you'll see that Lowe's is a cheaper brand than Home Depot. And the other thing is, it has exactly the same range that the Home Depot has, but there are more products in this range than there were there. For example, you've got the drawer slide jig, which they didn't have in Home Depot. You've got the concealed hinge jig, which they didn't have, and the cabinet door mounting hinges, which they didn't have. So all in all, a much better selection. And the other thing is, it's got the larger boxes of pocket hole screws, and there's multiple ranges. Pretty much every size that you could possibly want is here. And at the very bottom, they've even got the router table, which I would love to have. $250, and they've got the high-speed pocket hole jig. I'm not sure if you have seen this product on other YouTubes. I have. Brad on Fix This Build That, he uses it quite often. It's an electronic one. You just literally put it up and go like that, and you're away. It's all completely done for you. So a really nice range, and as I said, just slightly cheaper. Okay, interestingly, I'm in the section looking for my router bits, and the router bits here are made by two companies, Bosch and Skillshare, and they are significantly cheaper. This is a 1-inch quarter shank flush trim bit, and it is $20.98, and it's made by Bosch. And this is another Bosch one, same thing, flush trim bit, but this is only half an inch in terms of the shank, and this is only $12.98. Now, no Diablo products here at all. The other make that you do see though is Skillshare. So for example, this set of decorative router bits, there's 3 in a box and then $19, so a significant saving. Now, I don't actually know what Skill are like. I've got a Skill saw, but I don't actually know what their router bits are like. But even so, a nice bargain, particularly Bosch are a really nice make for router bits. Okay, two other interesting things. A whole range of Metabo products, absolutely everything you ever need, and just down here we've got the DeWalt batteries, and if you remember the DeWalt battery in the last video, I think it was $120 odd. It's the same one here, the 20 volt 4 amp hour battery, and it's down from $129 to $99 in the sale. And they've got a double pack down there, and the double pack down there is only $159. I think it was the single pack in Home Depot that was $129, but they've got every possible conceivable battery, with the exception again of Milwaukee. I haven't found a single Milwaukee product in here yet, but everything you need in terms of batteries here. And interestingly, the only thing they don't have, which I can't find, is the set of chisels, the 4-pack of DeWalt chisels that I mentioned in the last video. I'll keep looking, but no luck finding so far. So we're in the land of wood, and there is tons of wood. I'll do a little short clip so you can see there's way bigger selection than there was at Home Depot, but we found the same plywood, exactly the same as Home Depot, and again, I'm not sure if you can see it, but really nice quality wood, way better than we get in the UK. And this is $89.78, and I think it was $85 in Home Depot. So again, a little bit more expensive here, but really lovely quality, and I mean really nice wood. So we'll just have a flick and a run through so you can see the amount of types of wood that we've got. As you can see, a lot of wood. There's a whole section of wood there, all the way through, and another whole section of wood here. So here we've got the same stud timber that we had in Home Depot, same amount of lengths. I think it was $9.50 something in Home Depot if I remember rightly, $9.88 here. But again, the quality of all of this wood, the framing wood, really good, much better quality, although essentially it should be the same, it isn't. The wood just feels in better condition, there's less knots, and it seems much more usable. You don't tend to get a lot of bowing either. I've looked through quite a few pieces and there's not a lot of cupping or bowing in any of the wood, which obviously is fantastic. So again, this wood comparable with Home Depot. Okay, so finishing with my glue, as I did in the first video, the Titebond version 3, which is the one that's mainly used for outside, it's the super fast drying one, is $10.40, which I think is a little bit more. The Titebond 2, which I bought in the last one, exactly the same price, $8.48. And last but not least, the absolute bargain of the original wood glue, $5.48, which again is exactly the same. Now, the difference here is the selection. There is a much bigger selection here. There's a lot more epoxies than there was at Home Depot, so a much bigger selection. And interestingly, they still allow you to test the spray paint on the floor, which you can see very popular. So fellow woodworkers, we've got to the end of the video in Lowe's. Again, apologies if it's a bit clandestine when you see it. It's really not easy to film in these places, and they do take it very seriously. If they see you filming, they will literally throw you straight out. So it's a bit hard to do it, but hopefully again I've got enough. But if you're watching this, I must have done. So I finished with my 3 things. So I purchased a Bosch Precision Pro router bit. What I'll try and do is find out how much this was on Amazon and put the cost at the top. With sales tax, that cost me $20.98, which to be honest is probably still expensive, but I'm not going to complain about that because I thought that was a good deal. I also picked up a set of Irwin countersink bits. I've got some at home. I've actually got some Aldi ones, and they're really not very good, and they were $7.48. And the last thing that I got was some Craftsman sort of drill drivers, just because I wanted a nice set. Everything is in there and they were relatively cheap. So all in all, I spent about $30 odd on all of it, including sales tax, which isn't bad, I don't think, particularly if you think about the amount of things that these jobs will do in the garage workshop, and the router bit was one of my must-haves. Now, in terms of Lowe's, I have to say I am much more impressed than I was with Home Depot. When I originally planned doing these videos, when I knew I was coming to the States, I fully expected the Home Depot to be amazing, and I'm not going to lie, it's really good, but Lowe's to me is much better, and the reasons are, number one, it's got much more quality products in it. I mean, this building here is exactly the same size as the Home Depot that I went in the first video, and it had way more in it. It's a little bit more cramped, things are chucked around a little bit more. It doesn't look as nice maybe as the Home Depot, but in terms of the range of products and what's in it, absolutely fantastic. The cost obviously less than Home Depot, and you'll have seen in some of the like-for-likes that they are less. Even if it's a few dollars is a few dollars. And the other thing is just the vast choice. You can literally buy everything in there, from a Ring doorbell to a home safe to a piece of wood to absolutely anything. So really impressed with all that. I hope you've enjoyed this second installment. This is my last video from the States, you'll be pleased to know, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If this is your first time at the Garage Workshop, please can I ask you to subscribe, like and comment. If you're a regular viewer, thank you for the views and the feedback last week on my first video. Please can I also ask you to like and comment. Have a fantastic week, and I'll catch you on next week's edition of the Garage Workshop. Take care, fellow woodworkers.